Goedemorgen en welkom bij de Masterclass DevOps at Scale met Atlassian. Mijn naam is Roos Meijnen en ik ben jullie host voor dit webinar. We hebben een aantal huisregels en daarvan staan alle deelnemers op mute en de camera is uit. Als je vragen wil stellen, dan kan dat uiteraard gedurende de hele webinar, maar we zullen aan het einde van de webinar de vragen pas beantwoorden. De vragen kan je stellen via het menuutje aan de bovenkant of aan de rechterkant van je scherm. Oké, dan wil ik graag het woord geven aan Mark.
Dankjewel Roos. Goedemorgen. Allereerst even de agenda voor deze sessie van vanmorgen. We gaan onszelf zo even introduceren. Zowel de sprekers als Quint en Atlassian. Vervolgens zullen we naar de inhoud van wat hebben we nu al gedaan. Dit is een serie van 4 en dit is ook de 4e webinar die we daarin geven. Even een overzicht van wat we al hebben gehad en wat we vandaag mogen verwachten. Vervolgens geef ik het woord aan Joachim van Atlassian, die over Atlassian at Scale gaat hebben. En op het laatste zullen we nog wat vragen beantwoorden. Even kijkend naar Quint. Quint is een internationaal adviesbedrijf. We hebben kantoren in 7 landen, voornamelijk gericht op Nederland en Spanje. We doen een aantal portfolio's die we richten op leadership, consulting, training en technology. En dit webinar is met name ook vanuit technology oogpunt wordt dit behandeld, vanuit ons partnership met Atlassian. Kijkend naar onze proposities richten we ons met name op 2, namelijk de Lean Agile Enterprise en de Enterprise DevOps voor vandaag. Als we kijken naar de sprekers, hebben we Joachim Fuchs van Atlassian uitgenodigd. Hij is een Senior Solution Consultant, Senior Solution Engineer bij Atlassian. Hij zal zichzelf straks ook verder gaan introduceren. Dat deel van de presentatie zal ook in het Engels zijn. Dus ik zal zo ook switchen naar het Engels op het moment dat we hem aankondigen. En mijn naam is Mark Albertsen. Ik ben Practice Lead voor de Enterprise DevOps propositie binnen Quint. Nou, als we kijken naar wat we al hebben gehad. We hebben eerder op 14 april een DevOps die Atlassian sessie gehad. Waarin we met name naar de tools die het meest gebruikt worden binnen onze klanten. Binnen Atlassian hebben daar naartoe gekeken. En hoe kun je die nu inzetten voor een DevOps? De tweede sessie ging over technologie als randvoorwaarde. Hoe ga je nou zorgen dat je een overzicht hebt? Welke technologie wordt er gebruikt binnen mijn organisatie? En welke technologie ook binnen de teams? Zodat je daar ook kan kijken, oké, maar wie gebruikt wat? En is het ook geoorloofd dat dat gebruikt is? En worden er ook zoveel mogelijk gebruik gemaakt van de standaard applicaties die we als organisatie ook leveren? En de derde ging over onze nieuwe transformation platform, waar wij teams ondersteunen in een stukje digitale coaching op weg naar hun agile of DevOps transformatie. Deze 3 webinars die zijn ook als link beschikbaar op ons YouTube kanaal. Dus zoek die ook vooral op, zodat je die, mocht je interesse hebben, die ook terug kan kijken. En de 4e die zal er ook op verschijnen. En dat is vandaag. We gaan het hebben allemaal over Atlassian, alleen Atlassian at Scale. Die kwam eigenlijk als 4e erbij doordat we wat vragen kregen ten opzichte uit de eerste webinar. Van hoe gaan wij om met scaling? Dus we gaan vandaag kijken naar hoe je Atlassian ook in een enterprise organisatie kan inzetten. Door het gebruik te maken van bijvoorbeeld tools als Portfolio voor Jira. Die wat meer op programmaniveau zit. En Jira Align, die het hele spectrum tot en met portfolio ook kan laten zien. Dus daar gaat Joachim ons straks in meenemen. Voordat we dat doen, hebben we een kleine poll. En daarna zullen we ook overschakelen naar Joachim. Dus Roos, zou jij de poll kunnen openen, zodat we wat inzicht krijgen in welk publiek we nu ook hebben in deze webinar?
Ja, zeker Mark. Bij deze is de poll aangezet. De vraag luidt, wat is de agile volwassenheid binnen uw organisatie? Er zijn er 3 antwoorden. Laag, we staan aan de vooravond van onze transformatie. Wisselend, er zijn al teams bezig, maar er moeten ook nog teams starten. Laatste antwoord, hoog. We werken aan onze organisatie al jaren agile. Net ons woord. Ik zie al wat vragen of antwoorden binnenkomen. Zullen we nog heel even wachten om iedereen de mogelijkheid te geven. Dan ga ik de poll sluiten en dan zal ik gelijk de resultaten even laten zien. De resultaten 0% zegt laag. Nou, dat is, 88% zegt wisselend. En 13% die zegt we zijn al jaren bezig. Dankjewel voor het invullen.
Oké, dankjewel. Een mooi beeld, denk ik. En hiermee kunnen we ook de webinar verder vormgeven. I will switch to English, and I want to introduce our colleague at Atlassian, Joachim. Joachim, thanks for being here. You will start your presentation about the portfolio for Jira and Jira Align. So please do so, and thanks for your time to be here.
Okay, so hello everyone. Can you see my screen so far?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Interesting to see. Okay, so
there it is.
Here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So hello everyone. Thank you for the introduction and the invitation, Mark and Ruth, for this great WebEx. I would like to use the next 30 minutes to talk a little bit about scaling activities and possibilities and from Atlassian perspective. Just a small introduction from my side. My name is Joachim Fuchs. I'm part of the solution engineering team. I'm based here next to Munich in Germany. And so I started my journey with Atlassian last year in springtime, and happy to be here. And so a little bit like our headline today is portfolio for Jira or Jira Align. What could be maybe a good possibility for you as a customer to support your HR journey in your organization? So let's see this as a kind of an indication bar, maybe to use some of the stuff. And so 1 second. So, and here, for example, you will see the different levels that we can offer on a certain level, because agility can take part in your organization on a team level. There might be the next scaling approach might be a team of team approach that might be building some programs, or in some of the frameworks, maybe it's called a release train on a requirement area. And the latest and the highest level is the portfolio level. That means it's really a network of a lot of teams, especially in big organizations. And below you will see a little bit like the evolution steps that could be also as part of the agile journey. So a little bit like sit, crawl, walk, run, and fly. And based on this one, it's also quite key to see this from two perspectives. The first one is really the agile level and how you would like to bring agile in your company. So a little bit like starting from waterfall approach, coming to agile, having some Scrum and Kanban teams, and also have the perspective from the project management side, because there are a lot of PPM systems running in organizations. But over the course of this agile journey, there will be definitely from the project management perspective, a lean portfolio management now available. And from the development agility, it's a little bit the level of having the scaled agile approaches. So walking up the ladder, maybe taking care or usage of some of the existing frameworks. So a little bit being in the safe-ish way or in a less way, or maybe also using a Spotify model. And this is a little bit the journey to really move over and also start this in an organization. And so the question is, if you see this as a kind of a slider and you are using the slider from the left to the right side, what could be a first level really to start the agile journey with a support from an Atlassian solution like Portfolio for Jira? So as said, this is the first starting point where we can think of and maybe need some further support, maybe beyond Jira, because if I would like to work with different teams, there might be some dependencies, there needs another level of collaboration, and more or less also another level of insights, maybe for the team of team captain, for example. So everything what might be possible, and maybe some of them you have just seen, or you are using in your organization, there are solutions like structure, big picture, or portfolio. What is common for all of these solutions, there are apps really to extend the power of Jira Software. So they are really here to be in the infrastructure of Jira and being used as an app. And today I would like to speak about Portfolio for Jira, so our plugin. And the main stuff that people and companies are really being forced to is to think of how to do cross-team collaboration. And everyone is seeing that may be hard to do this one, especially if you are working co-located, so you are not in the same office. Maybe you are in different time zones, and then becomes even harder if you really would like to have a great team of team approach and try to start a team collaboration. So there are three areas where teams could struggle to collaborate. One could be a shared language. In that case, it's not even the language the people are speaking, it's a little bit the language the teams are working, because some of them, or each team sees them as an autonomous team, maybe having different wordings, having different workflows and all that kind of stuff. The next interesting level is how to manage dependency between teams, how to visualize this dependency, and also how to collaborate with these dependencies, because dependencies means risk for the delivery, and therefore there needs to be a special attention also to managing the dependencies. The last level, what I would like to talk about, is the capacity management, because it's always the question by having so many teams, having so many work, and how to find a good balance to push the work to the different teams, not to overload some of the teams, but also making use of the skill level of these teams. And so there are three main challenges that we try to solve with the latest version for Portfolio for Jira in the version 3.0. So one is really building a team of team roadmap that might be the one source for everyone taking part of this one, and is also the capability for a team of team captain really to show this and share this roadmap with the business users. The second area is the dependencies insights, also just to see how they are visualized, how to build up these dependencies. And also the last part, managing the capacity level. So by thinking of this release 3.0, we really would like to build a plan that reflects really the reality, and then also could be shared with the business stakeholders and with the whole teams. And this is also a platform really to constantly evolve and respond to change. That means there could be some other features necessary. There could be some competitor disrupting the business of an enterprise, and therefore there needs to be a platform also to visualize this information. And this plan is also a possibility really to share this constantly and to communicate with all the stakeholders being part of this journey. So let's talk about some of the key features. And the first one we would like to have invested to provide an intuitive planning UI. So for example, there's a small animation just that can show how easily you really can change the content of this plan, which information could be highlighted, having the capabilities to hoover some of the information to see the underlying progress, for example, really see the structure, what are the necessary parts, how they are linked together. And this is one of the areas that we have invested also to provide some great user experience and make the life easier for all of the people working with Portfolio for Jira. The second one is an enhanced drag and drop. So just talking about this as a feature to make it a little bit more easier, really to switch the elements between different areas. A third key feature is we have the new capabilities in terms of filtering options and view the settings. But a very big portion was part of the dependency management. So let's also see a small animation for this one. And so it's really like based on the filter, we can just check, we would like to see all the elements having dependencies. And also then, for example, we would like to see the dependency for a specific issue. So it's really up to you really to filter that one down to see really everything. If you would like to just have it as a big picture for the moment. And there's also the possibility, for example, to start and build the new dependency based on this GUI. And then you also can see, for example, how all the things are linked together. And either you can have it as a kind of a bird's eye view for this program, or as said, really just filtering down just to a certain JIRA epic, for example. Next key area is the capacity management, because by working together with some teams, we also have to balance out and also see what's about the capacity and the load of the teams. And so, for example, now we can bring the capacity based in this view, and by, for example, then highlighting the iOS team, we will see that the Dingo team, they are overloaded. The Crocodile team has some capacity left, also the Wombat one. And now it's the question, together with the Scrum Masters of each team and being the team of team captain, now really to balance this one out, and also having the different sprint cadences and the different sprints in mind. And then by changing this one, we can see now that the Dingo team is also in a good shape. And as said, this is a quite an easy approach really to bring everything on the table and then just check out and really find a good balance that their team will be overloaded with this one. And the last feature is some auto scheduling. So if you try to set some specific dates, this could be really rolled for all the different elements. And so there's also a kind of a good user experience and also improving this one. So these are the last section was talking about portfolio for JIRA. And as said, this is a great starting point if you would like to scale up to the level of team approach. And then, for example, being a release train engineer, and if I would like to make my work easier and a little bit more scalable for me, then with portfolio for JIRA, this is really a great stuff for my team approach to do this one. But let's talk about the next level. And so by using the slider and going to the right side, then beyond the program, the team approach, now we have the portfolio approach. And the portfolio approach is very close to a scaled agile process. And also this portfolio idea is then also part of this lean portfolio management area. So also a switch in terms of the portfolio management. That means, or can bring also some new capabilities for this one as well. And if you really would like to go in that direction, because you see and you would like to scale, maybe based on a framework like SAFe, then JIRA Align could be a good fit. Or maybe if you're just starting with the portfolio for JIRA approach, and maybe after some years and part of your agile journey, you will see there might be some more capabilities needed, then maybe a switch to JIRA Align could be a good approach for you. And in that case, JIRA Align is not an app like what I have shown to you some slides before with portfolio for JIRA or structure or big picture. JIRA Align is a complete solution where JIRA will be integrated and will have a bidirectional synchronization between these tools. But JIRA Align, talking about my picture here, is the mothership, and the JIRA or JIRA systems will just be linked to this one. So there's a key difference because JIRA Align will not extend the power of JIRA. JIRA Align and Jira Software together will scale the enterprise to a new level. And so JIRA Align is a complete enterprise agile planning solution. That means it has some capabilities for all strategic levels. So starting from the executive level, there are some mission, vision, and values that needs to be done. And then breaking this one down, for example, in portfolios, programs, however you will name it, down on the team level. And JIRA Align is based on lean and agile principles. This is one of the key things, really, also by thinking of the idea coming from a traditional project and portfolio management, really going in the agile area and supporting this lean and agile principles. JIRA Align is framework agnostic. So if you, for example, would like to dig in less, safe, that, or some flavors of these frameworks, you really can take benefit with JIRA Align using this one, because more or less everything is in total based on some scaling approaches in terms of scaling the teams, scaling the work, and also then talking maybe about the financial stuff as well. And based on these capabilities, in a row, we are a market leader for the agile, or for the enterprise agile planning in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So this year just mentioned as Atlassian, the last year's mentioned as Agile Craft, so the name of JIRA Align before being acquired from Atlassian. And so on the left side, you can see some of our customers talking about our capabilities. And there is also a little bit like this one here. Dean Levingwell, the founder of SAFE, really is mentioning that JIRA Align is the only solution built for complete SAFE support. So let's move over. And here, this a little bit the journey that you can build in your organization with JIRA Align. Either you can start here with the team of team approach, so it's a little bit like bottom up, using everything what you are doing with the teams in JIRA, building a team of team approach, building some tribes or programs, building a program of program approach, for example, to build the portfolios. And this is then definitely rolled up to the enterprise. And as said, this also could be a journey starting like this one, maybe then having some success starting on the next level. But on the other side, you can also use JIRA Align and having the starting level of the enterprise side. This means we have all our business intent, and this then will be split down in smaller portfolios, smaller programs, and everything what then could be delivered from the teams. And so by having that one, we have an alignment in terms of the business intent. And on the other side, by doing the great work from the teams in JIRA, this definitely will be rolled up as a progress for the programs, for the portfolios, and for the enterprise. And so the enterprise agility at the end more or less consists of three main topics. And so one of the starting points is really the execution agility. That means we would like to have predictable delivery, just to take care and use the velocity of teams and seeing there's some stability, because having this stability, then we really can predict what we can deliver maybe in the next 3 months. The second area on the portfolio agility side, we really would like to drive our investments and get the most value out of that one. And so the last one is really the business agility side. And this is really the capability for teams really to respond and send to things that are coming from the market, either seeing what competitors are doing or maybe following new trends. And if there might be a new trend, then the question is what needs to be adjusted on the portfolio and on the execution side on this one. Who can take benefit of JIRA Align? So especially the technology exec being part of the strategic planning can benefit from this one. The portfolio leadership, maybe there's an agile center of excellence in a company that also will be part of the journey and also can either see what's happening on the team side and being part of the strategic planning, as well as product managers or release train engineers or requirement area engineers or product managers, down to the level of a Scrum Master, because he's also part in the whole strategic process. The developer could benefit from JIRA Align, but in a classic situation, the developer did most of their stuff in JIRA. And maybe if they would like to get some more insights, the Scrum Master or release train engineer or product owner will be a proxy, maybe to dig into this information as well. So let's talk about some base capabilities that we would like to offer. By having JIRA Align linked with JIRA, then we really have a complete execution tree and a hierarchy. So really we can see how many stories will build a feature, how the stories will build in an epic in that case, or for example, being part of an initiative in an organization. And therefore we are supporting this visibility and this alignment with a so-called why button. So for example, we can see here why this feature is part of the journey. So this gives some great insight for the developer why we are doing this one. And also then see why this feature is part of a bigger thing like this initiative. And why this initiative is then part of the bigger thing like a theme in my organization. And also you can see here a progress bar, and also you can see at a glance what's about the progress for this element here. And as said, this why information gives the context for all levels in the organization. And for example, this why information is also passed down to JIRA as a text field, so all the developers can see this information by just working in their solution JIRA as always. The second interesting area is the dependency and risk management, because by working together in teams or in bigger things above programs, there will be dependencies, and each dependency will cause some risk and also then needs some special attention. And this special attention is on one level seen by seeing the threads between the teams. So for example, if I have a feature that will be delivered from two teams, and there might be a dependency between some of the user stories in terms of the delivery, we see this dependency as a kind of a small contract. So one team will be the requester for this dependency, and the other team will be the respondent to this one. And if I ask and the other party will agree, then we can track this one. And maybe if there will be a blocker on the course of the delivery, this also will be highlighted, and then gives the Scrum Master of the teams and maybe the release train engineer or the team of team captain the chance really to collaborate and escalate on this one and try to get the blocker out of the road. One of the key capabilities is really the program planning board. And in that case, we can see here, we would like to plan this cycle here, this 3-month cycle. We see all the teams being part of the journey. And we also can see here what the teams are working on. For example, everything that you can see as in rectangle. This is a feature on JIRA Epic. If it is green, it's done. If you can see a check, then it's accepted. So this gives you also at a glance as a tracking possibility, and not always also the planning part for this board, also a chance really just to see what is our current status. And so being either the Scrum Master or, being either the Scrum Master or the team of team captain, we should have a special attention for the orange one, because, for example, there could be a planning issue, but especially the red ones are the key ones that we have needs a special attention. That means there seems to be a blocker. And for example, one of the blocker could be that a dependency, this shape represents a dependency. And so by having this one, we can also then see why this dependency is a blocker, and we can try to fix this one. And so this is really a great representation really to do, and say if it's called a big room planning or a mid-range planning, maybe for the next 3 months, what currently users and organizations are doing, and is always in the range of a team approach for the programs, for example. Let's move over. Another very interesting element is a live roadmap. So there's the chance really to see our work and either what we are currently doing, or maybe using these increments in a row, seeing the current increment plus the next 2 ones. And then we can use the roadmap either for some, I will say, what if scenario planning, because we can shift around these elements here. And by not pressing a sync button, nothing will happen in the background in the system. But this we can use, for example, to have a visualization maybe for the planning of the next 3 months. And then by starting this agreement process and this planning process, then we can bring some examples and can discuss them instead of, for example, starting with a blank sheet of paper. And also the roadmap gives us the capability, for example, if you deliver software for external customers, if you would like to give them a roadmap view, what we are currently working on and what might be over the course of the next planning and development increments is in our focus. And so it is also a great way to represent this information here. And one of the key parts in JIRA Align is also talking about financial stuff, because everything what needs to be done needs a budget or a kind of a planning, how many money we can invest in total, and maybe for some of the portions, how many money we really would like to use on that level, for example. And this is the budget, the first planning. So just try to find the possibility to split this in several areas. And then the middle part is the estimation based on the teams and the user stories. And then we can see if there might be a great difference between the budget and the estimate. Plus also we have the actuals. And then we also can compare the actual versus the budget, and the actuals will be presented by user stories points accepted, plus a blended rate. And so we are not also talking with JIRA Align about the scaling, about what we would like to develop. We also can combine this with some financial information, really to pass it over to the project managers, and also then use this one for a retrospective, also just to see, or maybe over the course of the time to react maybe on some changes. Or maybe if we see, for example, in one area we would like to invest 1 million, but the estimation from the team was just 800K, then the question is what to use this other 200K for, and this representation gives you a kind of a basic idea for this one. Just a small information about the integration between JIRA Align and JIRA. So on the left side we have JIRA. There's a bidirectional synchronization between JIRA Align and JIRA. So what we have, for example, as an epic could be transferred over and being a feature on the JIRA Align side. The naming could be adapted to the naming conventions in your organization. And so this information will be mirrored. And for example, due to the planning, there will be a new feature. This will be directly synchronized and be then a new epic on the JIRA side. And based on this information, we can have the roll-up and also starting this planning cycle here. And as said, JIRA Align can either be connected with one JIRA or with several JIRAs in your organization, just also to be sure that all the necessary parties are part of this big transparency and visualization for the enterprise. And for example, we can also integrate with Azure DevOps and that one as well. And in that case, it doesn't matter if JIRA will be behind the firewall or in the cloud. So for all of these capabilities and abilities, JIRA Align can handle this one. So just a small summary. If you really would like to have a very fast real-time roadmap connected with your Jira system and being, for example, a team captain, then Portfolio for Jira could be a great idea for you. If you just would like to manage your release and track your dependencies across your teams, then this might be a great capability to use Portfolio for Jira. And if you really would like to use it for you to have an easy adoption and get started quickly, then Portfolio for Jira is a great starting point. But if you are thinking of the dimension of you would like to have a combined and unified solution, really to see all the roadmaps, the strategic parts, talking about the planning and the delivery, not even above some teams, really talking about the whole enterprise, then Jira Align will be a good fit for you. And also in total, if you really would like to manage all your releases in the complete cycle, track all the dependencies, because there will also be dependency across programs. And especially if you would like to or have to work together also with multiple programs and portfolio. Sorry for this one, was a little bit too busy, and so in that case really Jira Align will be a good fit for you. And this are really the main information just to find the separation point. But if you will go to our homepage, in the portion of Jira Align, you can download a PDF file that gives you in a more precise way maybe some comparing information between Jira Align and Portfolio for Jira. So that's the part of my presentation. Now switch over to the questions. Are there any questions from the audience?
Yes, Joachim, thank you for your presentation. We have a question. Let me see. How does Portfolio for Jira integrate with several Jira instances we have within our organization?
So in that case, it means for each of your Jira installation, you need your own portfolio setup. And so in total, that means your silos still will exist. So you can extend your capabilities for each of the Jira systems. But if you would like to have a complete transparency and visualization for the whole enterprise, then this is not working by just adding portfolio in each of the Jiras.
Okay, great, thank you. I have another question. I love the Jira Align tooling. What about implementation? Is Jira Align something we can implement ourselves, like Jira Software, or do you advise the knowledge of Atlassian or partners?
Okay, a very good question. So in that case, we are offering several professional services packages. We call it a jumpstart program, really to enable you to do this one. Because beyond just talking about the tooling itself, the question is how to align this best to your current approach in your organization and how really to set up this one. So in that case, it's a kind of a demand. Please engage with our partners like Quint or engage with us at Atlassian, really just to bring you up to speed. And then on a several level, you are really more or less on your own and can do everything based on this starting engagement.
Okay, great, Joachim, thank you. Well, we're out of questions, so I think we can end the webinar. Joachim, again, thank you so much for your presentation. Mark, also for the introduction, of course. I'm going to switch to Dutch now. Iedereen bedankt natuurlijk ook om te kijken en te luisteren. De slides die zullen niet worden gedeeld, maar de webinar is opgenomen. Dus je kan hem terugkijken. Hou dan onze LinkedIn en YouTube kanalen in de gaten. Die zal binnenkort beschikbaar zijn. Hou ook onze website in de gaten voor nieuwe webinars. Er komen er weer een aantal aan. En nou, dan zodra ik de webinar sluit, dan komen er een aantal vragen tevoorschijn. Dat zijn de evaluatievragen. Want we willen graag weten wat je hiervan vond. Dus vul ze alsjeblieft in. Het zijn er 4, dus dat is een paar minuten van je tijd. En dan wil ik iedereen voor zover een hele fijne dag wensen. En alvast een fijn weekend. Tot ziens.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.